Howdy, Area 1, Region 3. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Kelly Monroe, and I am one of the regional advisors for our region. I am going to go through the pre-submission process for our region. Most of the information is going to be the same no matter what region you're in, but we do have a few small specific things that are unique to us, and so I will try to make sure that I mention those as well. For us, it is time to start pre-submitting those projects to our judges to get ready for grading. So it is that time. The first part of that process is to get your information on what it is that you're supposed to pre-submit. So in our region, we do have a site called area1region3.bpa.org. And this is where I'm going to come to find out all of my regional information. Your region may have something different, but you'll have a way of getting that information from wherever it happens to be. So for us, pre-submits did open. We were supposed to open a little bit earlier, but they did open today. And all of our events must be pre-submitted by Sunday, December 17th at 5 p.m. So make sure if you're in a different region, you know your dates. This is what we call a very hard deadline. So whatever dates your advisor has given you and said, hey, this is the deadline, please note that end time is what we call a hard deadline. So that means that I have actually hit buttons by 5 o'clock. I cannot be logging into the system to turn things in at that time. I've got it, it's done, I've hit finish, everything is submitted. If I'm in the middle of submitting and it turns to be 5 o'clock according to the master computer, it will submit your work and lock you out. So do not wait to that last possible minute. I hate to tell you this, students, but in the world of technology, systems go down, projects don't get submitted, internet dies, things happen, computers die. Do not wait to the last minute. This is not one of those times where you wait until 4:59 p.m. to start submitting. Early is better, okay? The more people that are on a system, the higher likelihood it's going to crash. So it is very important that you do get your work done and get it ready a little early and not wait to the last second. All of the judged events in our region have to submit not only the pre-submit part that's listed in the WSAP, but also a presentation to the judges. And we're talking a video presentation recorded with your teammates or yourself presenting as if you would to the actual judges. That might be different for your region. You may only have to do the pre-submit listed in the WSAP, but in our region, we have 2,350 students. We are a little big, so we have to do our first round of presentations virtually so that judges can go through and help us narrow things down. We do have events with up to 75 teams or individuals in it, so we have to do our first rounds this way. This does mean that even though the WSAP does not say user design team needs to submit the judge's presentation, you do for regionals in Area 1, Region 3, okay? We also have our regional president and scholarship application that are also due by those dates. The links are also here for us. Those are specific to our region. You need to check with your regional advisor on if your region offers a scholarship, as well as how to do your regional president application. Our region is very different just because we're so huge. So make sure that if you are somewhere else, that you are checking that information. I also highly recommend that all of our students in the region get to this document right here where it says contest deadlines for all events can be found by clicking here. It's going to kind of bring up these guidelines, which we make for our region to help you figure out what it is am I supposed to pre-submit. So for example, FAT team, according to the WSAP, you don't really submit anything. So for here, you're going to submit your recorded presentation. That is required for our region. But an event like economic research, normally you would just submit your paper and works cited page. Well, for our region, you have to submit both that and your presentation. So we put this together to kind of help with this. And I'm going to explain this new column to our members here in just a minute. So it's coming, but we have exactly how National says we're supposed to name our files, what do we have to bring to finals, and that information. So I'm going to scroll down because I have a child actually pre-submitting for our region. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to his event so we can see what is it he's supposed to submit. So he's doing the user experience design team. And so we can see here that we have to have all of our projects, our release forms, our works cited, everything in a combined thing. We need a link to our recorded presentation. So I have to have all of that, and I'm going to submit this information twice. Before I can actually start submitting, your advisor needs to give you the login. So while this right here is the actual website to get to Area 1 Region 3's pre-submit, And it is also listed on here in case you forget, okay? You have to have a couple pieces of information. One, you need your BPA member ID with extra zeros because it should be 8 digits long. Sometimes when we as advisors copy and paste things into Google Sheets or slides, or we paste it into Excel, the leading zeros might get erased. So for my own son, he's been a member for a while. He has 3 zeros in front of his number. I have to make sure that he has all of his number. Okay? So when you get your number, make sure it's 8 digits long. I also have to have a password. Now, when I'm submitting at the national level, that BPA password, I log into bpa.org, works for that site. For state and region, we set up different passwords for each school. I'm going to say that again. We set up different passwords for every school. So every school has different passwords. It's really important that this password is not given out to anybody else, okay? You're not giving it to any other students. You're not giving it to students outside of your school. It is specific for your school. I also need to know who my team captain is. So your advisor has the information on how to get this information. So I can go through and pop this up. So we can see here, I see Connor's name, I see the events he's in, and I can see that he happens to be the team captain. So when I go to this website, I can actually log in and see here is what Connor is registered for. Now, right here, team captains or students. If you look and you realize you're missing a teammate, you're in the wrong event, you need to send an email to your advisor, who then needs to contact the regional advisor to fix it. There's a problem with the registration. Students, I know this might be a shock to you, but your advisors are human beings and sometimes we make mistakes. That's okay. It is fixable, but we need to fix it before you upload. So please make sure that you do reach out to your advisor and go and say like, hey, Caitlin Monroe is missing from the user experience design team. Can we get her added on? It's important to know who the team captain is because the team captain is going to be the only one that can actually upload the project for teams. If you're doing an individual event, so for example, economic research individual, you don't have to worry about that because it's only you have rights to upload. But when it comes to teams, only the captain can upload. So that document that you guys just saw will have who the team captain is for these teams, and so we can see that Connor Monroe happens to be the team captain. You'll notice there's a lot of buttons. Some of the buttons are updated, some are not. I'm going to be honest, testing events, I haven't updated them yet. Don't even bother looking at stuff because it doesn't work just quite yet. Okay? So we can see Connor's doing banking and finance this year. Not even worth looking at because, like I said, I haven't updated anything yet. You really and truly just want to worry about those judged events. So we can see here he's on user experience design team. So I'm going to hit that word instructions. And these instructions I can pull up anytime between now and the pre-submission deadline. Doesn't hurt anything if I look at it today, come back tomorrow, log in, look at it again. Not a problem. So we can see here these instructions are general instructions for your event. So it's reminding you that you can upload up to 5 PDFs or URL links. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. And that we do need to submit both to also the presentation and the technical scoring category. That's why it's really important that you're looking at this document. As you guys can see, speaking of making mistakes, I've got 2 I have to fix on here. So I do need to upload my files via a URL link. So it can be by Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, however I want to upload these files, whatever your school will use. If I want to do a URL, I can also upload the PDF. So it says like I have to have a PDF of my release forms and signatures and works cited combined. I can do all of that. On here, you'll notice for every single one of our events, it says number 1, you have to have a video of the presentation to the judges. It must be a clickable link to your actual video. When you are doing your video, 1, we need to see all of your teammates on your video. 2, we need to make sure that you have recorded that video. With over 2,300 students, it is not possible to move on to the next level and to possibly make it to finals if you are not actually presenting your presentation to the judges. And we're talking full-on presentation. Here's my slides. We're all set up. We're recording. I'm recording and talking as if that judge is sitting here in front of me. Okay? I also highly recommend that my students, I tell them that they should also submit whatever slides they're reading from. A lot of students will have PowerPoint slides and whatnot, and so that's great, but it should be in whatever you're submitting to the judges so they can follow along with your presentation. It is important in your presentation that you do think of a few things. Number 1, what kind of background do you have? Is it super distracting? Are there people walking through? Is it really loud? Not the best time to record. Number 2, my dress code. I would actually be disqualified for not being in my professional dress. So please keep those things in mind, okay? The other part on here is that I only get to upload one time and only one time. Well, I've got to make sure I have everything set. Number 1 question I get this time of year is for the video part, Ms. Monroe, what do I do? A lot of students will either get on Loom, Screencastify, Zoom, Google Meets, Teams. Doesn't matter how you want to record. We've had some who set up a full studio equipment in their school studio, some who put their iPhone on a tripod to record. However you guys want to record your presentation is just fine. The judges will not give extra points to this studio setup versus this one who recorded from their phone. They don't care. They are going over the content of your presentation, not the quality, the video quality of your presentation. That is not a factor. So please don't let that be something that you're even concerned about. Just figure out how your group is going to get together to do the actual recording. Okay? One piece of information that is on every one of our events is to please make sure that you have some kind of a document, either in the PDF that's combined, your URL link, your file folder, whatever, that does state your chapter number, your member ID, the name of your advisor, and their email. If, let's just say you used OneDrive and your video link is not working to the presentation, big if, the judge is in a good mood, they may email and say, hey, Ms. Monroe, Connor Monroe's link is not working. You have 12 hours to contact him and get it fixed. Thank you. They don't have to do this step, and with 2,300 students, they may not do that at all. But if they're in a good mood, sometimes they will contact your advisor if that information is here to say that there was a problem with your stuff. It is very important, guys, that you think of your share settings. It should not just be set that anyone in your school can see things. Most of our judges are actually industry experts. We got people from Channel Station 5 who are doing broadcast grading. They don't work in a school. They're not going to be over here at Reedy High School trying to go through and see that only people in Frisco can see your project. So it's very, very important that if you put your video on YouTube, that it's anyone with a link. So it's unlisted, that only the people with the link in your Google Drive can see it, but anyone with a link can find it. Same thing with Dropbox, same thing with OneDrive. So make sure that you do have your links set up that anyone can see it, but it's not public. So think with YouTube that anyone in the world can, search for your video. They have to have your actual link to get to it. In the WSAP, there is some cloud storage guidelines that could help you. They are just some recommendations. They're not every recommendation of every different type of project, but they might be something that help you with that process if you need it. It is also really, really important that you do remember you get to submit once and only once, and that is the only thing you get to submit is just that one time. So make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row before that team captain goes to upload your files. All right, so let's go ahead and talk real quick about this event so we can see we have it on here twice that I have the word upload files. We are actually going to ask this year, this is new. This is the only part of this whole presentation that happens to be new. So if you watched last year's, no big deal. We are going to ask that you upload your stuff 2 times, and here's why. When you upload to technical, the rubric in the WSAP for the technical shows up, but the presentation didn't. And so we are asking that you submit the exact same information to both technical and presentation. So that way, when the judge goes to grade your team presentation, they have the presentation rubric. And when they go to do the pre-submit grading for your technical project, in this time the app, they have that correct rubric in the WSAP showing up. So please do that one thing for us to help make the judges happy. Happy judges give higher scores, so keep them happy. So I'm going to hit upload. So on here, as I talked about before, there's going to be a limit on how many things you can upload. Some events have 2, some have up to 5. Keep that in mind, whatever your limit happens to be. Do not hit finished. Do not navigate away until everything is done. Otherwise, everything won't load. If I click this by accident, I can always hit back and it will take me back and I can still upload. If I hit finished, I've submitted, that's it. There is no undo, there is no redo. Okay, once and only once. When it comes to files, I can only upload PDFs. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to just pick on the style and reference manual, hit open. You can see it spun for a minute. Now my file shows. If that was all I was going to submit, I can go ahead and hit finish. If I can't tell what it is, I can hit download to make sure the file I did was correct. If I made a mistake, I can hit delete. If I need to upload another file, I can hit upload. I have 1 submitted so far. I also need to do a link, a URL link to my presentation. So we're going to pretend that this happens to be it. Oops, escape. So we're going to go over here and post. I can make a comment if I need it, like, hey, the password is whatever. And I'm going to hit add. It's going to spin. Don't navigate away. But now here I can see the document that I have uploaded. If I needed to go check something, I can hit back. But if I was done, I need to hit finished. If I hit back, we'll pretend that I've hit finished. We can see exactly what it is that I've turned in. Even after the system closes, upload files is gone, I can go back and see what did I turn in. Did I turn in that video? Did I turn in that video? Sometimes it wakes us up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Did I do this? Did I do this? You can always come back and see what you did. Because I haven't hit finished, I haven't navigated away, I'm able to go back in. Oh, I forgot to submit this. I can go through and do that. Because I'm not Connor Monroe and I don't have his work, I don't want to hit finished. So I'm just going to hit delete. And then I'm going to hit back. So that way Connor can upload their project when they're ready. Again, I'm going to do the same thing for both ones. So on here, it says scoring category. That's why this new category exists, to tell you, do you only submit to technical? Do I only submit to presentation? Or do I need to submit to both? Some of our events are only technical. So for example, I could have sworn there was one. But anyway, make sure you look at this to see what it happens to be. Again, if there is a problem, make sure that you do contact your advisor so that they can go through and talk to your regional advisor if there's an issue. Regional president application, if it doesn't show, your advisor never registered you to tell us that you were running for regional president, you've got to contact your advisor. Same thing with the scholarship. So our region, we do have a scholarship opportunity. So I'm going to hit frequently asked questions. There is the regional president application for our region. We do run this different, so you need to make sure if you're not in our region, you go someplace and talk with your regional advisor. Same thing, we have a scholarship application. That's where you're also going to have that, and that does need to be submitted here by the December 17th, 5 p.m. deadline as well. If they're not showing, talk to your advisor. Your advisor can contact your regional advisors, in this case myself or Ms. Barker, and we can get those added to this for you. If you've got questions, talk to your advisor first, and then they can reach out to us so that we can help you with this process. Remember, think of your background when you're doing your judge stuff. Make sure there's not loud noises or weird stuff, your dress code. Make sure that you've got everything and all your ducks in a row when you hit submit. Because once you hit upload and you hit finish, that's it. You get to submit once and only once. And don't forget to give us that presentation. We need the judge's presentation as well as the pre-submit stuff. So even though FAT team doesn't normally pre-submit, you are going to submit your presentation to the judges. And we're not talking just your Google Slides, guys. We're talking an actual recording of you presenting to those judges if they were sitting in front of you. If you are doing what I like to call topicked events, so for example, that's going to be our, thought I had it on here. Our events, for example, interview skills and advanced interview skills. The interview questions are live. You can actually see them right now. You can print them off and do whatever you need to with them. You just have to have your recording. With those events, you are allowed to actually have somebody come in and be on film with a release form to ask those questions as if you were in a mock interview. However, with extemp, human resource management, ethics and professionalism, along with Parley, there's a completely separate video for you guys to walk you through the process. Yours is a little bit different, and when you go and hit the button, you have a timer that's going to show, and you have X number of minutes to read, think on your feet, come up with that speech that you have to for extemp, record, and upload. You don't have all of this time like we do here, and there is a completely separate video to help you with that process. So make sure that you get that also from your advisors. Reach out to your advisor if you've got questions, and we wish you guys all the best of luck. And I really wish I could see every single one of you on January the 20th, and hopefully I will.